Hello, I'm Stuart Archer. I'm with Northern Marine. Here today to talk about Northern Marine and the type of boats we build. We build these go anywhere, full displacement, long range cruisers that literally go around the world, and most people think they're going to go around the world. Some of them do, some of them don't, but at least the boats can go there. As an example, the type of hulls we build in fiberglass. We use solid fiberglass hull bottoms with cord sides, and this is the typical sample size of a cutout we did on the 57 we're building right now. We put a layer of Kevlar in the middle to give added protection. So these boats are effectively more than bulletproof. They're built to withstand hitting a sunken container out in the middle of the ocean and keep going. We had one gentleman that actually hit an island 1,000 miles out from nowhere in the South Pacific. It's going about 6 knots. All he did was flatten the nose of the rounded bulb. He went another 1,000 miles, hauled out, did a quick fairing on the nose, and kept on going for another 78,000 miles after that. So that's what we build, long-range, indestructible boats. What we have here is a 57 hull that's just come out of the mold, and as you can see, we use bulbous bows. The bulbous bow is a nice feature. You think of it for efficiencies, things like that, but it's not really. It does give you some efficiency. Instead of doing 9.1 knots, maybe you do 9.1.5, something of that nature. So it's not really going to increase your overall efficiency. What it does do is help dampen the pitching moment. So that when you're in heavy seas, the boat's going to be going up and down, and the water's going to run around the bulb when it's coming up, and it's going to be running around it when it's coming down, and that helps dampen that pitching moment out. Huge in these style boats. Again, these are really heavy displacement boats. So this particular one, 57, is 135,000 pounds. We put about 17,000 pounds of ballast in them just to weigh them down. On the 80 footers, we're closer to 60,000 pounds or more of ballast. And when I mean ballast, this is what I mean over here, reject or spent bullets. This is about 3,000 pounds of them right here. Again, this boat here gets about 18,000 pounds. They compact really nicely into the hull, and then we resin coat them, and then usually put a floor over the top of that so they stay completely isolated and protected. And besides the bulbous bow, we do full-length keels to give the boat nice tracking ability. But also on the bottom side of the keel, we use a steel keel shoe. It's 1.5 inches thick in the back, but runs all the way continuously up to the bulbous bow, where it's about 1 inch thick. Therefore, if you were to ground, you're rubbing on the steel and not the fiberglass. Pound for pound, fiberglass is 1,000 times stronger than steel. However, the abrasion resistance of steel is far superior to the fiberglass, so that's why we do that. We have a completely protected propeller back in here. The keel comes together and it fares back together, so the water comes back together before it hits the prop. We also have a stern thruster located right in the aft end of the keel, well protected. So in follow-up of doing the fairing on the back of the keel, we can only build the back of the molds so thin, and then it's very difficult to lay up a part up. So what we do is we build it to a certain point and then add a fairing piece here that tapers gradually almost together to a fine point back here. So we build some structure, steel and fiberglass, we fair that in, and then of course put our prop on and our line cutter in front of that. The other option we typically would suggest is an articulating rudder. And the articulating rudder is the same shape as a normal rudder we put on, just a flat piece of steel. But the articulating rudder, the back fifth of it basically, rotates. The more you rotate your rudder, the more the flap, like an airplane wing, also rotates over. The water thinks the rudder is much, much bigger than it is. There's a lot more force on that rudder. The boat will turn very, very sharply in low speed maneuverability. And that's a big plus in these long range expedition type trawlers. Because of the long keel, they tend to want to track straight. This articulating rudder will force that boat right on over, and if you need any extra push, you got the stern thruster and of course the bow thruster. Both of these systems and all the other systems we have on board are hydraulic, not electric. Hydraulic, you can run them 24/7 effectively, non-stop. All right, since we're a fiberglass shop and we build everything fiberglass, including our water tanks and our fuel tanks. The nice part about building in fiberglass is we can follow the shape of the hull. You probably can't see it on the video from that angle, but it actually follows the contour of the hull and drops right in. We'll put then in baffles, and drop them in, put a lid on it, seal it up, test it, and we're good to go. So we use a special resin for the fuel tanks that is meant specifically for fuel, where all the other resins we use on the boat, the hull, the boat deck, the water tanks are all vinyl ester resin. We don't use any polyester resin at all. So we're just starting the interior rough-in of this 57, putting the headliner grid in and getting an idea of what the layout's going to be. This is a 2-stateroom layout in this boat. We have done 3 in this 57. We have our superstructure behind here. We've put the boat deck on and the flybridge on, and as you can see, we're just starting to marry the flybridge onto the rest of the structure. At the end of the day, this will all be one monolithic part. We don't have any caulking seams. We don't add something and put a bead down it, and then you see it at the end of the day. This will all look one complete piece, which is a nice trait, nice feature. Again, being a custom shop, we can do anything. Typically we have about a 1,500 pound or 1,200 pound crane on here, but if you want a bigger tender, we can upsize the crane. You can put 2 3,000 or 5,000 pound boats on this boat deck without any weight issues whatsoever. This is the inside of, again, the 57 hull. We haven't yet put the transom on, but it'll be one of the next steps we do. As you can see, everything is glass. Everything's infused. We even infuse the stringers in one shot. The hull, give you an idea about infusion. Infusion is a process where you put down all the materials down dry. You put a bag over it, suck the vacuum down, take out all the air, take out all the water, and then you bring in a measured amount of resin that completely populates that area, and a nice, even, consistent, thin film, giving you a very high concentration of fiberglass, low concentration of resin, and a very, very consistent part. Therefore, they're stronger. In this case, we don't need them lighter, but we certainly have a much, much stronger part. So even our bulkheads are done the same way. This particular bulkhead has balsa, and we use balsa because it's great sound deadening, and it's a little stiffer. The core hull side here is a core cell foam, cross-link foam, and we start it about a foot above the waterline. It gives you a lot stiffer panel here, gives you some insulation, whereas down below it's all solid. In the actual hull itself, we have a central dump chest behind this panel here, and a central pickup sea chest on the other side. So 2 penetrations through the hull. Everything comes up into the boat through the sea chest. You can shut them off individually, or as a butterfly valve below, so you can shut the whole system off while you're still in the water, clean out whatever the problem is, open it back up, and keep on going. Dump chest, same thing, just everything dumps out the same way. Even these fuel tanks back behind us, there's 2 saddle tanks, both fiberglass with a big access hole. You can climb right in through there if you need to. You shouldn't have to. We have a fuel manifold system that we'll be putting in the boat on the bulkhead back there. It'll have a polishing system, so each tank, which there's 3, 1, 2, and then 1 forward, you can transfer fuel so you can balance the boat fore and after or side to side. But you can also polish the fuel and transfer the fuel from one tank to whatever tank you need to. The other we do is custom cabinetry. We've got some of the best carpenters, master craftsmen in the country, if not globally. We've won some international awards because of our yacht interiors and our yacht styling. Specifically building in the 57 to 150 feet. So we've got a great skill set of people. These are a couple of our sample cabinets that we have here, just to show someone what we can do with the different types of woods, and the different finishes we can put on them, and the different styling. So when you come in, we'll select a piece of wood, specifically what type of wood, build the cabinet. When you've approved the cabinet, we'll build the rest of the boat. Being a full displacement trawler, single engine, as you can see, it's the same system that the industry has for freighters, large big ships that run on a single engine. And the question is well, what happens if the engine fails? So what we do, and what our solution to that, is to have a take-home device which rides on the shaft, and it'll drive the existing shaft and propeller if the engine or transmission were to fail. And to engage that is a push-button control from the pilot house, and off you go. It is a proportional drive, so you can go forward or reverse. And in the case of the 57, it's about 5.5 to 6 knots with a 17 kW generator, because what we use is hydraulics through a PTO off the generator. If you had a larger generator, say 24, you'd probably be doing 6 or 6.5 knots. It's just a function of the size of the generator. So we've gone through some of the systems that are on this boat, and there's a lot more that we try and personalize around the individual or family buying it. What we usually do is sit down with the owner, his family, and find out where they're going to go boating, with how many people, how long they want to go out. Basically, how are they going to use the boat? And their aspirations. It may be that they have a thought or dream to go to Australia at some point in time, or Europe. If it's a low probability, we'll put some systems in place to accommodate that if and when they go. If they're going to go down to Mexico 2 or 3 times in the next 5 years and use it fairly regularly, we'll probably suggest maybe dual water makers as in case one of the water makers fail. Each boat that we build is ready to go right from when it's launched. All the systems are in place to get you wherever you want to go. All the systems are there in place for you to go, but there's some systems that may help you or your family have a more enjoyable trip, and so we'll make some suggestions about what those may be. The interiors, when you come in, we'll design an interior to suit your family. This particular case, again, it's a two stateroom. It may be a 3, it could be a 3.5. We could have extra bunks or Pullman type style berths that drop down to accommodate more kids or family if that was the intent. So we're very accommodating. This is a great opportunity for someone to come in now and purchase this boat or one of our other models. We build from 57 up to about 100 feet on the Expedition style. Again, now the hull's built and the layout for this case is 2 stateroom. There's still a lot of choices and selections to make, from the type of wood, the type of carpet, stone, door handles. You can go to decide every little feature you wish, or you can say, I kind of like that boat over there, and could you build it and let me know when it's ready to go. We've done all of it. So we'll build to what you want, but we'll also build to how much information you wish to give us or want to give us to build your boat. We have some that want to be here every day and see every detail, what's behind the walls, and we have some that's not important to them. So once you come by, take a look at us, see us on our website, send me an email, give me a phone call. The information is below. Thank you very much.